Namaste, lockdown cats, and welcome to Monday Flow. Thank you for joining me today. We are going to be staying quite mellow, stay quite close to our expression, and occasionally letting ourselves just sigh and empty out anything that's feeling a bit sort of stagnant. So, whenever you're ready, come down to the mat with me. And as always, please do take care of yourselves. If there's something you're not sure about, just come back a little bit or just take rest and sprawl out like a starfish. Okay, so we're going to get started on our backs today, nice and mellow. Come down towards your semi-supine, so your feet are flat to the floor and knees are up towards the ceiling. If you need to, just take a little shift of the hips side to side as you arrive there. And then we're just moving into a feeling of stillness. Hands might be on the ribs, chin towards the chest. Softening the muscles of the face, softening the root of the tongue for a moment, noticing what there is to be felt in the body as we take 3 or 4 really nice deep breaths. So noticing your breath as an internal movement, feeling your belly underneath the hands rising and falling. See if you can make it just a tiny bit deeper, so we get this sense of really reaching into the corners of our breath. Noticing where the body connects with the ground, back of the head, nice heavy sit bones, back of the shoulders, feet. And just allow yourself to take that steadiness, that support from the ground. 1 or 2 more breaths. As we inhale, start to open your arms up to your sides so they're out in line with your shoulders. Just give your fingers a wriggle. Just let your knees just tumble a little over to the left. And then center. And over to the right. And center. So we get this arc, this windscreen wiper movement. Just feel like both wriggling the fingers, rolling over the glutes and finding that little twist. We're sort of giving the body just this little rinse. Finding spaciousness again, whether you're at the end of your day or at the start. Enjoy that. Take a last breath. Inhale, start to bring the knees up center and lift your feet from the ground. Taking your hands to the kneecaps, let's now look at the feelings internally, look at the feelings through the lower back as we circle the knees. So you get this feeling of really making the most of the weight of your back on the ground as we circle and massage the lumbar. Let that circle change directions. We'll go the other way. I feel like there's this feeling of like finding, searching and slightly finding any little tender areas as you breathe. As we exhale, we're going to start to become still. Reach your right leg all the way away along the ground. So you're keeping your left knee in. So this might already be quite a dramatic stretch for you today. Interlace the fingers across your left shin and just give that shin a squeeze, rotating the left ankle. Again, a feeling of waking that up. As we exhale, just let your right hand just gently open to your right side. And we're going to take your left hand on your left shin. Left heel might be slightly flexed here. And we're just going to move that left knee slightly open to your left side. So it's a feeling of a little frog's leg open to the left side. Don't push if you can today. Bring the knee back to center and then back open a couple of times. So if you could see like a little firework, a little sparkler tracing line with that knee, we're drawing a little semicircle in the air towards you and crossing the chest and then back and open. You might go a little bit further open to the side if there's room for that for you today. And then as you exhale, let's come across the chest. Take your right hand onto the left knee so that we can open your left arm to your left side. And we're going to come into just that twist, supine twist. So your left knee is going to move over to the right as we exhale. You might be looking towards the ceiling here or slightly back to the left hand. Close the eyes for a couple of breaths and just notice the body, the skin moving in two directions. Maybe a feeling of an inner massage. The organs getting a little squeeze as we did on the lower back. Coming from there, inhale, let's come back to center. Step your left foot flat to the ground, bring up your right knee. Give that right knee a squeeze of the shin, interlace fingers, sliding your left leg down and away. So we've got your right shin, we're giving that a squeeze and maybe a rotation of that right ankle. Maybe there's some ankle music to listen to, some clicks. Notice what your extended leg is doing. Try not to forget about the alignment of the hip and the heel. Maybe flex slightly the extended foot. We're also going to flex the right heel as we let go with the left hand of that right shin. We're just taking your shin with your right hand only just out towards your right side slightly. So we're drawing that tiny frog's leg space and then coming back to center. And then we're drawing an arc with the knee, open, back. And just feel how far you feel like going today. It doesn't have to be much. It might grow slightly to explore the hip joint, the hip muscle. Take another deep breath. And when you're ready, let's come into twist. Left hand takes the right knee and the right arm open. So moving your body slightly towards the left as we bring your chest slightly center. Looking center or looking slightly back. Close the eyes, take 3 deep breaths. Notice what's going on internally. Especially as you breathe deeply here, you can feel this slight massage on the organs. Inhaling, let's move into center. Take both knees up and back towards your chest. So we're going to cross the ankles over. See if you can reach the tops of your feet with the hands. You might lift your chest slightly. Just draw a little stretch along the tops of the feet. So you're pressing your toes down. Feel that nice weight on the lower back. You might even shimmy your knees side to side along the lower back. Inhale, release, and just switch over. Cross the ankles the other way. Grab the tops of the feet. Take a little stretch of the toes. Maybe a shimmy. And then inhale, let's rock slightly back and forwards. If you want to come up some other way, please feel free. Otherwise, we might keep a very loose connection with the feet and rock up to cross legs. together just in front of the knees, maybe forearms. As we breathe in, lift the chest, tall as you can be, hands behind you, fingertips facing forwards. And we're just going to take a little lift of the chest, so you're feeling the chest open. Head might drop slightly back, do be careful of bunching the shoulders up around the ears. If you're comfortable to come a little further with me, we're going to lift off the pelvis and press the hips off the ground to stretch the inner arms and the piriformis, thighs. Exhaling, let's come back down. We're going to switch over the feet. You should feel a gentle glute stretch on whichever leg is underneath as we again come forwards and just drop the head. Just a little bit of a sort of head drain. And then breathing in, let's come back up. Same movement, fingertips face the front of the mat. We either lift the chest here, stay, or come onto the palms. Inhale to press and lift the pelvis. Go easy, listen to your body. Exhale, coming back down. Let's come over the feet this time, or feet around to the side. Find your way into tabletop. Hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. And let's just find a little cat-cow, belly down. And then belly scooping to press tall, rounding the shoulders. Big breath in, belly comes down. Exhale, belly presses up. As we inhale here, tuck the toes. Take a little toe stretch, so you're kind of pressing the ground away for a moment. And then just let your hands move forwards until we find maybe the forehead in between the arms. This feeling of stretching the shoulders on a tall child's pose here. Long, long lower back. So on the next breath, we're going to take that rounded cat again, leaving the hands where they are, but just coming up, rounding. As you exhale and look between your hands, just bend your elbows slightly so they're in at your shoulder distance. And we'll take that little arching space here, so you're actually trying to pull your tailbone back to your heels. Exhaling, inhaling, coming through that rounded space until your eyes look between your hands. And you're kind of magnetizing the elbows slightly together at their shoulder distance, bringing the chest low and lifting the tail to come back. And one more. Magnetize those elbows, send the tail back. With the puppet strings, just pulling that tailbone back. Exhaling, round it out, and then just bring the hands underneath the shoulders. We're going to lift that tailbone, lift the knees and find down dog. Just take a really nice generous rinse of the heels. Same with the sides of the body, really go into the sides for a bit. Find your rib cage, find the hips. And then even lift onto the tiptoes and back to the heels maybe a couple of times, gently, gently finding those calves. Breathing in and breathing out. And then inhaling, let's look ahead to the hands and take a step forwards, or a few steps forwards, until we reach the front of the mat with your feet underneath your hip bones, exhaling to fold. So we're going to roll it up, nice heavy arms, feeling that stretch through the legs. Knees can be totally generously bent here to keep the spine long, and then just feel a lift of your tailbone from the ground up. Breathing in and breathing out. Gonna find heavy arms, strong back. Take this really slowly today. Feel each part of the back. And as you come up, really let that crown lift, shoulders down, feeling the brightness outside the eyes, feeling your feet, again supporting, rooted, taking the arches of the feet to draw up through their centers. One last breath. Good. So with steady feet here, exhaling, take a little bend in both knees, and we're just going to take a little windmill. So the arms are just going to take a flop, side to side. Doesn't have to be as dramatic as this, but it also could be more dramatic. You can add in a little sigh if today is that kind of day. Last deep breath. Let it slow down so you feel momentum just subside and stillness take over as we find just a moment to do nothing. Good. So breathing in, we're just going to take up the arms. Take your palms facing forwards. Inhale to lift to the tiptoes and put a little energy in those tiptoes for a couple of breaths, eyes slightly low. Just cutting off the top of my head, stay there. Good. So you're coming from those tiptoes. Inhaling and exhaling. Let yourself travel down to the heels. We're going to take your left wrist with your right hand. Inhale to lift up. Exhale to come over, slightly towards that right side. Keep lifting, pressing into both feet. Inhaling, come to center and just change over. So we take the right wrist with the left hand. Inhale to lift, exhale over. Inhale to come center. As we exhale, just lower the arms. Just take a nice long space through the neck muscles. Breathing in and breathing out. Okay. So palms towards the chest. Inhale. You're going to start to take the hands to just tap the pectorals. And from there, like two ferns just unraveling, just roll your wrists out to your sides and spread your fingers until your hands are just behind your chest. That's nice and open. And then exhale, just round it out. A slow clap of the hands together, just isolating that roundness in the shoulders. Inhaling, hands to the chest. We're just going to tap the pectorals, open that up to the sides. And exhaling, round it out. One more time, in and out. In. This time let's come up, open the chest. Hands are either going to come behind you to interlace or hands to elbows. Whatever feels good for you today. Inhaling to lift the chest, full breath in. Full breath out, bending the knees, lengthen down. Exhale all the way. And as you release the crown and start to stretch the legs, you can always release the hands early if you need to. If you're comfortable here, staying a couple of deep breaths. Exhaling, release those hands. Give the head a little shake. Add a little extra shoulder release, one hand to each opposite elbow, and just bounce out, this time a bit maybe to the sides as well. Exhale to release. Let's bend the knees, sit down on the heels. And we're simply going to allow the knees outside the elbows. Heels slightly together here. Sitting long and back, you might take your hands to the ground in front of you, bringing your gaze slightly forward, so feeling that nice hip stretch. option is to take the hands behind the heels to bind and add a little more hip space as well as our balance. So you're either connected behind the heels or the hands are on the floor. Last deep breath. Inhaling, let's release, start to lift the chest and bring the knees inwards. Finding your way back to the sit bones, you can either take the hands forwards and move your way back slow as you dare, or you can walk yourself back or come back however you feel. Okay, taking just a little lift of the knees up and towards you. As we exhale, let's come all the way back down. Good. So as you come back down to your semi-supine, we're just going to take the left foot into the air. You can stretch out the back of the hamstring a couple of times if you want to. And then just keep reaching up and allow that left foot to come down on the right thigh and thread the needle. Left knee open, nice heavy lower back, big breath in to rise your right thigh towards you. If it's comfortable, we're taking the hands to connect, lifting the chest, hands behind your right thigh to interlace, making sure both heels are flexed so there's intention in the directions of the hips and heels. Just feel that nice glute area stretch as we print our back into the ground. Take 2 more of your deepest breaths so far today. Exhale to release. Stepping your left foot flat to the ground, inhale to rise your right foot into the air. And just stretch the back of the hamstring, either just by holding, breathing, or a little bend and re-stretch if that's tight. As we exhale, right heel on top of your left thigh, knee slightly open, really allowing that hip to change its positioning. Big breath in, we're going to lift the left thigh towards us. Option to come up and connect with the hands behind the left thigh. Only really if that's comfortable to return your chest and your head to the mat so that we can really get this feeling of sort of landing and aligning that spine all the way, crown to tail. Make sure those heels are flexed so there's intention in the stretch. You can also really deepen the glute stretch. Taking 2 of your fullest breaths, letting the belly inflate, subside. Exhale, let's release. Stepping your feet flat to the ground. Inhale, we're just going to reach the arms up and overhead. Stretch your feet out long in front of you. And just take sort of a yawning breath along the ground, really long. Exhaling with a flop of your arms either side of you into Shavasana, where we're just going to spend a few still moments. So chin slightly tucked towards the chest. Breath taking over, big and natural like a tide rising and falling. And if you can, really softening the muscles of the face here for the last few breaths. Just giving yourself a feeling of surrender. we gently, gently come back to the body, feeling each breath as a step back to yourself, back to a deeper connection. Notice the places you're still holding a little alertness or a little tension. See if you can just relax and let go of those muscles for these last few breaths. Feeling like your body is then more spacious, and as you breathe, we feel that really nice deep exchange. Fresh air, fresh energy in, stale energy out. Space for fresh energy, fresh thoughts. Exhaling, releasing, and letting go of what we no longer need. And just 2 more times, breathing in and out. Wriggling the fingers, wriggling the toes. And then just start to gently bundle the knees up towards your chest. Tumble out towards your left slowly. Take a moment in this really small little hedgehog ball. And then just gently, gently, let's make our way to sitting. Get nice even sit bones again. Tall through the spine. Let's take a moment just to take the middle and first fingers in towards your temples. Just connect to a feeling of releasing the face on an even deeper level. Refresh. Feel that self-care, that touch. When you're ready, bring the hands together. This time the thumb knuckles are just going to circle across that space between the eyebrows. Waking up that third eye point. Connecting to those high energies, the ventilation in the upper body, in thoughts and energy. And then bringing palms towards the chest to your center. Taking a bow to yourself here. Namaste. I hope you're feeling nice and mellow, or more connected. And I wish you a wonderful Monday, whatever is left of it for you. And I will see you next week, I hope. Ciao for now. Nam.